I figured
This
it
call is
out.
being recorded.
No problemo. That's totally fine. I am recording our conversation, so please do not hesitate to interrupt if you have any questions at all
Sounds
whatsoever. That is totally fine.
sounds great. Thank you.
And other than that, we see you got the transit forecast. I'm glad to see also your sun is in Aquarius.
Yes.
Actually, you were born right before the new moon. That's very gangster. You have Sun conjunct. Oh my God, you have Sun conjunct Mercury 29 degrees. Jesus,
Yes.
that is. Ah.
Help.
So you were like, okay, I'm coming back into this lifetime, but I'm just gonna be the super alien goddess high queen. Like, and this is actually really important because I have 29 degrees Mercury in Taurus. It's actually the defining feature of my chart. It's why I'm such a gifted communicator. And it's what taught me about the importance of 29-degree planets. So to see you have 29 degrees Aquarius Mercury, I have a mastermind, but Taurus is the slowest sign. So I can be pretty slow in how I process. Um, 29 degrees in Aquarius is like not only an extraordinarily cosmic mastermind, but the capability for you to process knowledge is at the highest level. Like you're legitimately a genius. But the reason why I say this is because you kind of might have to talk your shit because like if you argue with somebody else, I'm not going to lie. 10 times out of 10 I'm going to listen to you over anybody else cuz I don't want to hear what anyone else has to say. I also firmly believe that Aquarius is the only ones who know anything. Everyone else just thinks they know. So like um it's really key. Like that's the power of a 29-degree planet. Your capability to communicate and process is literally mastered. And the square to Saturn adds inhibition and limitation, but so much authority to the wisdom and strength of how you communicate this. So it's really amazing seeing that you have the moon and sun here. You were born like in the closure of the balsamic phase right before the moon was new, 0 degrees Pisces.
Mhm.
So we see that in the progression, but you, without making this too much of a natal chart report, I just want to give you kudos because you literally have one of the strong, no, sorry, you have the strongest mind in like the world. Like you have one of the strongest minds ever.
I feel that, but it's kind of like a blessing and a burden.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
actually feel like this Mercury,
Retrograde.
well, it's supposed to be like over the long term of my life, but I'm actually not a very good communicator. And half the time I feel it's because what is in my mind cannot go out of my mouth.
Right. And let's kind of be real here. You're a masterful communicator. It's just you're communicating to people who probably don't know what you're saying. So like more of your
Mhm.
words go over people's heads.
Mm.
And it's like you may not know what to say with that square to Saturn because you know it'll trigger the crap out of people. And
Yes.
and that's the
Mhm.
burden. So that doesn't make you not good a communicator. It means that you're a celestial high queen who is basically seen as an alien and like people just don't like literally how Aquarius is heaven, you're over people's heads. That's why I love
Mhm.
listening to Aquarius too, right? Like rappers like Lupe Fiasco, like it's hard for people to understand what they say because y'all are just on another level. And you have Jupiter in Aquarius. I didn't even realize that with the North
Yeah,
Node in
yeah.
Taurus. So you're going through a nodal return, which is amazing over the next 6 months. You're finishing your Jupiter return. You don't just have Mercury. See, I just have Mercury, 29 degrees. You also have the
Sorry
29
about that.
degrees. No, you're straight. So your spirit is also mastered. Like you are one of the most strong Aquarian celestial goddesses because Aquarius is the celestial god goddess, the high
Mm.
nobility. And so you are leading humanity into this new age of Aquarius. And over the next 6 months, Jupiter and Saturn are direct, Pluto's direct. Jupiter is going to enter your 12th house, which is going to start a release cycle. When Jupiter went through my 12th house, I had no idea I was going to become the peace dealer. I was changing, and because the 12th house releases old spiritual beliefs. And so I was coming out of my old outdated
Oh,
Christian beliefs. And I was like, what am I going to do? I felt so lost. And this is why I always like to put it out there, like for people going through the Jupiter in the 12th house. Next year, you're going to feel like you don't know what's happening. Well, I take that back because Aquarius is I know. So you're going to know. But it's that's so ironic. Oh my god, that's so ironic. But mainly, like you still may feel like things are releasing and ending for you, and that's a good thing. Like
Yeah.
if I knew that before, if I knew I was going to become the peace dealer and change my whole life, I would have embraced it. But going through the 12th, like you're literally releasing the old cycle. Beliefs that work for you will not work for you, especially as it comes to how you believe in yourself. So all through 2022, whereas 2021, the transits that you went through, like Gemini season, you stepped into the
Mhm.
eclipse near Chiron, which aligned healing with this destiny path to speak up about what's true relative to this expansion in your social circle. Leo season, you
Mhm.
completed the February transit by now expressing full nature of your talents relative to the audience you perform to. Well, now Leo season of 2022 is going to be okay, what am I releasing about my talents and inner child? What am I releasing in Gemini season about my attitude? What am I releasing in Libra season about my relationships? It's a whole year of release. While Saturn,
Oh,
it's still
wow.
tightening your social circle. And because you are like the master celestial goddess in the 11th house, you are like the hub of the community. You are the one who brings knowledge for your
Mm.
social circle of friends. And even if you met certain friends from other people, all the friends you have will know each other through you.
Mhm. Yeah, that resonates.
It's such a
Wow.
strong position because you're getting ready to unlock this with Pluto coming into Aquarius like never before, where all y'all gonna awaken and then the aliens will invade and they're gonna recognize you and they're gonna be like, did you ready this planet? And but other than that, I love I love that you
I
said
believe you. Feels like that.
oh yes, I'm so glad it feels like that. Thank you. I needed to know that. So once again, the first thing that's going to happen after post December is Jupiter's going to enter your 12th, and then we're going to see the South Node go into Scorpio, and the South Node going
Wait,
into
wait, wait.
Scorpio.
Sorry. What month did you say that Jupiter's gonna go into the 12th house?
No worries. Let me even give you an exact date. So here's your chart. We're going to see Jupiter enter Pisces literally the end of the year. So coming into the last week of December, it's going to enter on the 29th and it'll be in your 12th. And then we're going to see the North Node enter Taurus coming into January, specifically the third week of January on the 18th. The reason why this is extremely relevant for you right before your new moon cycle is what we're going to see. You have Saturn 27 degrees Scorpio. That's the burden, by the way, because it's like
Yeah.
you're socially
Mhm.
responsible for the purity of how you transform and deal with others. You literally were like a pure karmic judge in your past life. I love the Saturn South Node aspect. I want to
Mhm.
do a documentary on it because to me, that's like you serve people in this lifetime, but not like you're of service. It's like, oh, you tried to escape a past life judgment. You got served. And it's like you call people out on like past life karmic lessons where they may be out of integrity. And with Pluto, you transform it so that you can ground the value that they can have. Although it looks like for you, you're manifesting destiny this year. Second house North Node is manifest destiny. You're taking the resources of other people's resources because the eighth house is a broker, especially in Scorpio, where you may deal with taxes, secrets from others. People with Pluto here may literally just spill the beans and just kind of tell you their secrets without you even asking, and it's really a part of a
Yes.
karmic lesson to kind of understand and psychologically help transform others. But you're taking this investment from other people to add to your own wealth. It's kind of like having a bank where Saturn in the eighth is people trusting you with their own money, and that adds so much to your own. But because it's in the eighth and you're in the 11th, people can give and share, and now you have so much worth and knowledge and wisdom that people can give and take. But now that the nodes are returning, this is going to reestablish your wealth. And this is going to come back around the past 20 years where now you're fully establishing post Saturn return this nature of your wealth with Uranus that is legitimately unconventionally manifesting windfalls of income. and just really money through whether real estate, cryptocurrency, stock investments, unexpected money. The South Node is going to, I want to say January or February. Nope, let me just give you an exact date. The South Node is going to go over your Saturn. February. So let's say the second week of February, specifically starting from the 5th of February. The 5th of February, Saturn is going to be conjunct the sun while the moon transits your first. And it's actually awesome to see Mars and Venus conjuncting your first. Your very identity is that of the warrior. And as the warrior, you are the high queen. And of course, so this
Mhm.
makes you kind of like a warrior, celestial queen. But Mars and Venus here, that's amazing.
All
Mars
that
and
Aquarius Aries combination.
Right, right. And Mars and Aries here, like, infuse the boldness and raw originality of your character creatively to make you very dynamically creative. Like, there's the beauty of Venus, but then there's the rawness of Aries, which infuses your desire of sex and your love. This is really good for artists and creativity, and I like that it's opposite Juno. But, yeah, I feel like the Aquarians with Aries, whereas I just have Aries, like, I have Mars and Aries, so before I can think about what I'm doing,
Uh,
and before I can like before my cap moon can be like, "Hey, hey, hey, this is I already did it." And so it's just like, damn, but the Aquarius, you already know what you're doing. So you're still very instinctual and raw, but you actually have this mastery of knowledge to know what you're doing, which is really gangster to be honest. And once again, um
mhm.
that unlocking the South Node February is going to unlock the inhibitive burden and karma of Saturn post Saturn return so that you can fully unlock your supernatural manifestation abilities. What blocked it
Mhm.
before was clearing out who you can trust. Because if you had it before, you would have had these supernatural manifest, which you've always had your whole life, but you would have had the full access to them, and you would have been around untrustworthy people who would have just taken advantage of your manifestation ability. Even though you would have known better in Aquarius, I think this just kind of really sorted through that eighth house chapter. And does that resonate? Because it doesn't have to be exactly like that, but that's kind of the way I was thinking of it.
I definitely have had a fair number of energetic vampires in my life.
Hmm.
Um, and I can be a bit naive, like especially when it comes to narcissists.
Right.
So, I kind of fall under their spell, and then yeah, they kind of just like siphon off my energy. Um, so that's wonderful to hear that I'm moving that out of my life.
Oh, absolutely. And once again, if we take into account the nature of how you're getting ready to unlock this karma, once we step into February, which we'll get to, it's gonna really move forward into manifesting your destiny. So we are in Scorpio season, ironically, where we're going over your south node. And
Yeah.
basically this is going to relative to the if February is where you started the new moon cycle in your 11th to expand your
Mhm.
social circle of friends, to evolve the gains from career. So this is the closure of the previous cycle that started 2012, 2011.
This current one now, the Scorpio season
Yep.
or the
Well,
moon cycle?
more the Jupiter cycle that started for you 2012.
Oh, right. Okay, yes, that makes sense.
Sorry. Uh 2011, 2012, 13, 14,
20
15, 16, 17. So 2011. It started for you 2011.
Okay.
2011 Jupiter went through Aries, and that was when you because Aries rising started earlier than everyone. I'm Taurus rising too, but Aries rising was you kind of kicking off that cycle. You're closing it out. 2020 was the career success cycle where you
Mhm.
consolidated so much growth, and now you're coming into the rewards of that, where you're meeting new friends, you're expanding your social circle relative to how much deeper you can trust, and so now you started that cycle in February. You manifested the value of that in Taurus, but because you were expanding your social circle, how does your own self esteem challenge more influence that you're around people? And especially, how do you manifest the gains of the career that you came into boom, Leo season now completed that cycle of how much more courageous you can express your talents to the audience in your awareness in the 11th. And now Scorpio season is concluding this square the 11th to who you can trust. Now that your social circle is expanded, that means you have to draw deeper boundaries. And so this is completing the value you manifested in Taurus with who you can trust with that, who you can invest with.
Mm,
And this is going to, throughout Scorpio season with the new moon, open you into a new cycle of transformation where you're intimately dealing with people as the result of partnership from the Libra new moon, where you now expanded your relationships relative to this expansion of your social circle.
mm. That's super fascinating. I actually started just a couple months ago a psychic intuition course.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like actually quite overwhelming me because lots of, I mean, you've been talking about like the superpowers coming online. Definitely there's this whole new world and like fountain of information that I have access to. And I have had to definitely put those boundaries with friends who are like, "Oh, you're psychic now. Let me ask about whatever." You know?
Right.
Um, and also learning, like, who's gonna cross those boundaries, who, yeah, is gonna kind of just, like, take advantage of the situation, who's, like, gonna be respectful and be like, "Yeah, we're just having a Friday night out. I don't need to hear from my dead grandmother right now.
Oh
I'm
my God.
actually gonna let you, like, chill and relax," or whatever it
Right.
is.
Which is even deeper because Saturn is in your eighth. So there's karmic authority here to really enforce these boundaries.
Mm,
But I mean, it's just such an obsessive quality because you got so much sauce and wisdom here. Now I can see why it's hard for people not to do that. Not that it's an excuse, but this is gonna have you come back around to really establish this accordingly.
mhm, mhm,
And
okay.
realistic too. Oh yeah. So,
Yeah.
concerning that, I think you're gonna come into so much considerable breakthrough this season
Mhm.
because now everything you're going through this season is going to prepare you for Taurus season 2022 when the North Node will be in Taurus and we have that eclipse. Basically,
Right.
right. We can even think of this as investment channels where it's going to open up who invests in you or what you invest in. For example, if you invested in any crypto, by 6 months from now, you're coming into a mean return, an amazing
Okay.
return. Right. So this is
Okay.
preparing you for what this is manifesting what you worked on Taurus season, and it's also preparing you for 6 months from now through your own birthday Aquarius season. And this is definitely very key because coming out of this new moon in Scorpio transit, it's going to, of course, be opposite Uranus. The opposition to Uranus, of course, is going to facilitate this nature of manifesting the unconventional value into how you deal with others more directly with this more radical sense of your confidence and
Oh,
squaring your opposite.
definitely. Oh,
And
wow. That, yeah, that's like, oh, wait. Okay, wait. Yeah. I'm sorry to
no, go
interrupt
ahead.
you.
No,
Go
no, no.
ahead.
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Well, just like, I think that's it, is like even choosing to take this psychic intuition course. Like, I had those powers. I just was like avoiding them, evading them, kind of obfuscating them because it made me even weirder. Like it made me even more unstatus quo weirdo Aquarian. But now I'm like, you know what? Like I can't get out of this. Let me just go for it. Like actually go all the way into it. Um, and like show up as this kind of, you know, celestial super alien, you know, psychic person and like show up as a weirdo and just
No,
be about
seriously.
it. Like be about it.
My North
But
Node
it's a
is in Aquarius. I look up to y'all. Like it's my destiny to be a weirdo. And I wouldn't even say
mm,
a weirdo, but just different. Because we're not, are we weirdos? We're really geniuses, right? We're pushing things forward. It's stupid
pushing
people who
things
think we're
forward for
crazy, right?
sure.
But like
Yeah.
you're so right. I love exactly how you said what you said because that's exactly it. Like you're having to lead by example because ultimately this new age of Aquarius we're stepping into is going to be influenced very greatly by the success you come into and the exploits you achieve. And I feel like
Mhm.
this North Node in Taurus transit is going to really help you be so much more comfortable and confident really owning up to that,
Mhm.
which I think is going to be a much huger breakthrough, if
Yeah,
anything.
it sounds like right now this, new moon in Scorpio opposite Uranus, and where you're saying it's square Aquarius, is
Right.
that, like, is this the toughest time of that? Of, like,
You want to see it as the
all
closure
all this
because
weirdness?
everything with that started February. So great question. You want to see this Scorpio season as the final element, which
Mhm.
is primarily going to put you in a position to realistically overcome and break through that weirdness through drawing the proper boundaries. And this is all
Mhm.
about taking your entire power back too.
Yeah,
And so this is
yeah.
actually going to be very amazing, especially when we take into account now after this season, the full moon is also going to release old, unconfidence in yourself so that you could be more confident dealing with others. But then we step into Sagittarius and we close out the eclipse. In fact, the
Mhm.
full moon will also be a part of an eclipse before we come into another eclipse. And this is what's going to prepare you to now, as an Aries rising in Sagittarius, conclude that eclipse chapter of ascending your beliefs and how
Mhm.
much more you see into the vision of how you're influencing this community around you, but coming into the
Mhm.
rewards of your success. Because you, as a Capricorn MC, put in so
Mhm.
much work attached to Neptune where you may come off as delusional or strange, but you're putting
Mhm.
in so much supernatural astral realm work into the world around you. And this is you
Yeah.
coming into post awakening of that to consolidating the rewards of that, but also being in a position to owning up the philosophy that was used as a resource to communicate with the North Node in Gemini the truth of what you heal. You even have healing communication, so you trigger people with your words because the truth will piss people off before it sets them free. But this is a
Yeah.
very magical element of how you heal people's minds with your attitude and the things you really communicate, even if it's hard for people to accept at first, still the truth. And so once again,
Yeah.
Sagittarius season is going to extend that confidence to really ascend everything. We got the Uranus new moon that square the 12th house Pisces will prepare for you to now change your philosophy relative to Neptune's influencing your 12th, transcending your whole spirituality and
Ah.
ascending more your magical abilities. And this is where boom, we step into Capricorn season and Jupiter goes into your 12th house. And we officially begin your 12th house cycle and chapter that will begin to release all of your old beliefs and evolve your spiritual beliefs around yourself,
Mhm.
especially as a celestial goddess. And while Venus will retrograde in your 10th house, this is going to reevaluate and reorganize the work you do to really awaken even greater success through you.
Mhm.
Did you have any questions so far regarding that?
That it just all resonates so thoroughly. I have, as I like moved into this um, uh, psychic intuition course, and it's just basically like dealing with the clairs. And then as soon as I like just convinced myself like I can do this, it all just came like flooding through, and I like make people burst into tears. I mean, not in a bad
Wow.
way, but like they're
Right.
like, "How the hell did you know that? Like, how could
Wow.
you possibly have known that?" Like, it's pretty powerful and overwhelming, but I'm like, okay, this is beautiful. This is helping people. I've, yeah, the word delusional that you used, I've been like questioning myself because
Mhm.
I have started to see myself as this, this character in the Matrix film, The
Mm.
Oracle.
Yes, no,
The late,
you totally would have legitimate oracle energy because, like, she actually knew what was up. That makes a
and
lot of
she's like, have a cookie, Neo.
right, right, right. That's
Don't
amazing.
worry, just have a cookie. But like,
Oh
I
my god,
actually
I'm
was
talking to the
speaking.
oracle right now. This is awesome.
I'm like, "Oh my god, Elisa, get a grip, like, what's going on?" But I was actually speaking to a friend who's having a similar experience, but, like, I in a kind of angelic way,
Right.
and we were laughing because we were like, "Let's team up and, like, be of service to people," and I was saying, like, "You be the good cop, I'm gonna be the bad cop," because I just, like, somehow just yeah, the things I say, like, very much disrupt
Oh, yeah,
people's
and we have to
self-beliefs.
also
Like, it's very triggering, and
we
it's not that nice for me sometimes because 'cause I'm like, "Sorry."
right, plus, I mean, this is what you gotta do, and they'll if they're mature, they'll thank you later. It's like the
Yeah.
ruler of your 12th house is in the 10th, so, basically, according to science, you don't even exist, only in, like, science fiction and fantasy. So you're so needed because this imbuement with your legacy is going to completely transform the way people look at success and the way people look at supernatural
Mm.
phenomena. You're leading consciousness in this vein. And so, because the ruler of your 12th is in the 10th, Jupiter transiting your 12th, while Venus retrogrades in your 10th, will begin to release old understandings of your career coming into Aquarius season that will now release old understandings about your friendships while Saturn is still tightening your social circle. And then we're going to start that 12th house chapter with Neptune and Jupiter, which is going to inspire you to completely evolve your entire spirituality relative to 6 months ago, where Jupiter evolved your lifestyle and your behavior, and then
Yeah.
2019, where Jupiter evolved your philosophy. This is putting the 12th house puts it all together. It's like a divine becoming. And as such, we release old beliefs, and this changes your belief around your identity so that when Jupiter goes over your first, boom, you've evolved your sense of yourself again. And this next come
Mhm.
around, you're coming for vengeance, my friend. Post Saturn return, you're unstoppable. It's like the psychic goddess is here.
Oh gosh.
So I honestly hate to cut this call short because there is going to be someone calling in 2 minutes. But like once we come back around Aries season and we start to align your identity relative to what you're releasing about, because Aries season is going to be Jupiter in the 12th, what you're releasing about the old nature of your identity. And then we're going to have Taurus season where we have the eclipse, the North Node is here. We're manifesting the 6 months of this Scorpio season and the confidence you have dealing with others and the investments with more money and how you're releasing old beliefs around what you're worth and
Mhm.
manifesting that spiritual quality. And that's going to be the next 6 months ahead for you.
Amazing. Can I ask you a quick question? You know, it's probably
You
what
said,
everybody asks, but like, this is all very phenomenal and it very much resonates. Is there any space for love and relationships within all of this, or is that just not my destiny?
well, I did notice you have Juno in the seventh. And so that kind of
Mhm.
kept sticking out to me. Like, this is the commitment to the balanced partnership. Um, there is potential for love, but not on a main track. It's going to be more centered around your social circle and who
Yeah.
really passed the test. So, I think if you don't go through anything next year, that's because you're clearing out the old cycle. It
Mhm.
you may meet someone next year, but it won't really kick off until you start the new cycle. That way, you don't start a relationship as you're clearing out a cycle. So, if
Right.
anything, you may already be knowing this person or talking to this person. So it doesn't mean romance can't develop, but that's just something to keep in mind concerning a
Okay.
cycle. Yeah.
That's the new Jupiter cycle you're referring to.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
Saturn's going to go into your 12th 2023, and so 2025 will be the new Saturn cycle.
Hmm.
So you have a lot to look forward to. It's going to be really amazing.
Wow. Okay.